Well, congrats. You decided to participate in the Kibo Robot Programming Challenge. As you may know already, it is a time, brainpower, and effort-consuming competition. We are honored to have you guys prepared for this year's challenge.
We are from Taipei Fuhsing Private School, and as you may know, the champion of the 2020 Taiwan Regional was Fuhsing Robotics Omega. There were a total of 2 teams from our school that participated in the competition, and we're the one that didn't win at all. However, we learned a lot from our friends from the winning team, so we have both the do's and don'ts if you want to win.
The prompt for each year may be different, but here's the one for 2020. We are going to share the basic rules and tips for solving the challenge. So the main idea of this year's scenario is that there is a hole in the ISS, and we must navigate throughout the space station using the Astrobee to fix the hole. After going through the guidebook, you should know that your main goals are the following: moving around obstacles, scanning QR codes, scanning an AR tag, pointing the laser, error handling, and processing. According to the guidebook, here's how you are going to be scored. Earn points from completing objectives, such as scanning QR codes and scanning AR tag. Completing the objectives will no longer count 10 minutes after the simulation starts. Your final score will be your worst score out of the 10 runs.
By participating in this competition, some important skills can be developed as a result. However, before that, here are some of the things that we decided were crucial for doing well in the Kibo-RPC. Of course, some of the more important skills are about programming and knowing your way around computers. You should be familiar with the Java programming language and understand object-oriented programming. Your program will be written in the IDE Android Studio, so you will need to familiarize yourself with it. Most details about writing the program and using certain libraries can be found in the programming manual on the website of the Kibo-RPC. However, don't hesitate to do a few Google searches if there's something not written on the programming manual. Testing programming results will most likely take place in an official web-based simulator, where you can see the results of your program, download log files, and even replay real-time routes that the Astrobee took. Another way will be building your own simulator through a Linux operating system, taking more effort but potentially benefiting more for those who frequently run tests. If such is the path that you're taking, then you will need to also be familiar with the Linux command lines and other functions.
Since you participate in the competition as a team building skills are extremely important. By effectively communicating with your teammates, a pleasant work environment can be created. No fights will take place, and the distribution of the workload can be even. In order to communicate with your teammates well, you could use Slack for sharing information and communication. There is plenty of work that needs to be done for this competition, especially coding. A small tip will be to use GitHub for version control, where different branches of the code could be developed simultaneously.
Apart from writing a good program that's going to get you a good score, everybody should be able to do public speaking. Being good at public speaking will allow our team to do well during the interview phase with the organizers of the Kibo-RPC. For our team to work well together, you should also be ready to speak in front of the teammates and familiarize each other with your progress.
Asking questions is a great way to get help, but you should be asking good questions. This means that you should provide sufficient information about your problem and/or question. For example, if you have a function that is not working, you should be providing your code, your test cases, and error or log messages. There is also a line group chat for frequently asked questions, but everyone is welcome to ask new ones. By asking sophisticated questions, others will be more willing to answer you and offer help. I'm sure that every team has a mentor or guidance teacher. It is highly encouraged to just ask them straight up if you encounter any problems.
Now here are some tips for future participating teams. First, you're welcome to ask questions anytime because other teams may be facing similar questions, and there are educated professionals that are willing to help. Second, remember to print logs. Each simulation takes a long period of time, so get as much as you can out of each simulation by printing logs so that you know where the error took place. Third, use trial and error, and that means running a test in a web simulator whenever you have time. You should receive your results within an hour and be able to download your log files.
Fourth, consider the randomness and error of the simulation environment when writing code. The results of each simulation may be different, but you can minimize the chance of error by considering it when you write code. Fifth, spend time on the programming. Trial and error is very time-consuming, and despite the heavy workload that we know all of you guys have at school, This competition isn't something that you can finish if you only work once a week. Lastly, this competition is slightly luck-based. The error of the environment could greatly affect your results, even if your program was highly refined. Good luck on your competition this year.
And let's get the spread.